Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk Blades of Khorne, and we're going to talk their Tome Celestial update because the rules are out there. So let's take a look at what we've gotten for the Blades of Khorne. A reminder that this Tome Celestial is coming out this month, so it'll be out very, very soon. You'll be able to pick it up. It's a really cool one. It's got Blades of Khorne stuff in there. It's got new Kill Team rules for Harlequins, along with some new Warcry rules for Fyreslayers and IDNF Deepkin as well. With that all said though, we're here to talk about the Blades of Khorne. We've got a cool new update for the Skull Altar, we've got some new battle traits, and we've got, of course, the grand strategy and battle tactics for the army. So with that all said, let's get cracking on and let's chat about it all and let us know what you think of it all down in the comments below. And so let's first take a look at the Skull Altar. This is another terrain feature that's got an update. Now, I really do like that they're doing the updates for the terrain features. This is great. We've obviously seen quite a few armies get updated that haven't had terrain features, but seeing them update them has been really nice. I mean, the Herdstone is the mark of what everything, I guess, the top tier level, and I guess Cities of Sigmar, albeit my favourite faction, is probably the worst one we've ever gotten. However, this Khorne one, I don't think it's as bad as Cities, but it's definitely not Beasts of Chaos in general. We're going to be looking at something that adds a bit of narrative fluff more than any, I guess, competitive rules. Though, when some of this stuff goes off, it could potentially ruin some army's day. Now, the Skull Altar, let's talk about that. It has the standard terrain deployment rules. It must be deployed wholly within your own territory and 3 inch away from other terrain and objectives. It can be garrisoned by one hero with a wounds characteristic of 8 or less. This does mean your opponent can garrison it, or non-Khorne heroes can garrison it. So if you're bringing in allies and you need to protect them with +1 save, you haven't got Mystic Shield, whatever, there's all sorts of options for that. So you do have that ability to put any hero with 8 or less wounds in it. You can reroll charging rolls for Khorne priests within 8 inch of this terrain feature, so they haven't changed that to only work for Blades of Khorne. So any priests you're bringing in, like a Khorne War Shrine or something like that, do get the benefit of the rerolls from the chanting rolls from the Skull Altar. The cool one I like is, while on the battlefield, this changes all miscasts to causing D6 mortal wounds to the caster instead of D3. Now, this rule applies while there is in with one of these terrain features on the battlefield with the rule that allows this ability. So that means if you get smashed to rubble, you will lose this because you would lose all your special rules. So you would lose this rule if you get smashed to rubble. I don't mind that being a thing. I like having smashed to rubble have an effect in the game and really start turning off these terrain features that are giving something extra board wide. It seems like a good incentive. They get a board wide ability, and then you also get the ability to smash them to rubble. But, you know, D6 mortal wounds is pretty nasty on miscast. Like, this is going to happen in one game, and you're going to be playing someone with a smaller wizard army. So I'm thinking something like Hallowed Heart for Cities of Sigmar, or even, you know, less competitive army like Gloomspite Gitsu, who generally have lots of low wound wizards. Those sort of armies, even Lumineth don't like this all that much. When you start thinking, you know, all of a sudden Wardens and Sentinels start taking hits from this. They don't have the best bravery, Lumineth. A lot of people forget that. So, you know, miscast, this could be pretty cool. It won't go off every game, but changing them to D6 mortals is solid. And then you also get the cool ability where, while a Khorne hero, once again, just plain Khorne and not Blades of Khorne, this terrain feature is garrisoned by a Khorne hero. They can attempt to summon invocations in the same manner as a Khorne priest and benefit from the rerolls provided by this terrain feature as if the model was a priest. That's really cool. You know, if you've paid for that invocation in your army list and all of a sudden all your priests have been sniped off by your opponent, you've got your Mighty Lord of Khorne or something, you know, in there, you can put them in the altar and you can get that invocation out still. So that's really cool. I like that. It's not always going to be useful, but it is a cool thing to think about with your contingencies. And you're like, oh, do I take an invocation because I've only taken 1 or 2 priests? Is it worth it? What happens if they die quickly? You've got a Khorne hero there, so if you can garrison it, you've got, you know, you do have the potential to get it still out. And so we go to the new battle trait given to the army. Now, this is what I'm talking about, something flavorful added to the army. This is certainly a battle trait that narratively I do think fits really well with the Blades of Khorne. It's not the most competitive addition to the army, however, but I think there is a wriggle room to work with this. If this does get improved later, like if this turns onto a 5-up, maybe this suddenly becomes a lot better. I think how it is currently, it's a good step in the right direction, but I'd like to see it maybe changed to a 5, and even a 4 on your big characters. But let's talk about the rule now. So you got a new battle trait. This is army-wide. You have Hatred of Sorcery. Each time a friendly Khorne unit. So once again, Khorne, not specifying Blades of Khorne. So this is really cool because it means if you're playing in a Blades of Khorne army and you've brought in some things, this is friendly Khorne. So that's really cool. And when those units are affected by a spell or the abilities of an endless spell, you roll a dice, and you must roll that dice. There is no you may. So this is if you've brought in allied wizards, you do this even if you've brought in allied wizards to their spells. On a 6, you ignore the effects of the spell or the ability of the endless spell, and you receive a blood dice point. Like I said, I like the idea of this. I really do think it probably needs to be on a 5-up. Like Hallowed Heart have the spell ignore on a 5-up, and generally a lot of armies that do have spell ignores are on 5s. I think this could be something you add to Khorne. If this was like a 5 and then on all characters it was +1, and then on Bloodthirsters it was +2, I think this would be a lot better. But it's a step in the right direction. It's maybe not the best rule, but this is something cool. And definitely fits the narrative of what Khorne should all be about, I think. So it's okay for now, but I think it could be better. Just to change it to a 5-up. Even just a 5-up flat army wide, without any benefits for characters or Bloodthirsters. I think this would be better. But like I said, I think a 5 with like a bonus for characters and then a bonus on top of that for Bloodthirsters would be the best way to go about this rule. Next, we have the Grand Strategy. It's called the Blood Legion's March. Now, you complete this Grand Strategy at the end of the battle if in every battle round after the first, so turn 2, 3, 4, and 5, or if you're playing any narrative scenarios, turns after that, you summon Khorne demons to the battle to the table during those turns. I don't think this is great, mainly because Blood Tithe is so much more than summoning. I think the best Khorne players know that summoning is just one of the many tools you have available to you with Blood Tithe points. I think this Grand Strategy is definitely a trap, getting you to try and summon demons every turn. It is certainly not something you want to be doing every turn with your Blood Tithe. I think the ability to out-of-phase charge and all the movement and all of that sort of stuff is really where the tech is with Khorne. I know a couple of really strong Khorne players, and they will all attest to the fact that summoning is probably one of the weakest things on that entire Blood Tithe table. It is all the other ones. So this is a massive trap of a Grand Strategy. It is not something I would recommend for a Grand Strategy for any Khorne army to take. Unless, you know, you're trying to play a narrative scenario. Sure, go for it. If there's a big story you're trying to tell about summoning some demons, this is a really good way to play that narrative game and that narrative scenario for you, but in a competitive sense, I definitely don't recommend it. And lastly, battle tactics. I actually think this is probably, on a competitive sense, the best part of the update. They have some really good battle tactics here, in all honesty. Some really easy to accomplish ones. These are definitely going to be useful throughout your games with Blades of Khorne. Now, battle tactics wise, first one is Blood for the Altar. You pick one enemy unit within 9 inch of your skull altar. You complete this tactic if that unit is destroyed during this turn. Pretty simple and solid. Generally, your enemies might be trying to send a monster to try and destroy your skull altar, or, you know, you might set up your skull altar near an objective because you can set it up within 3, so you can make it so, you know, if your opponent goes on another objective, you've got the ability to do this. It's not a bad one at all. I definitely like this one a lot. I think it's got a lot of play in there for the army, which is really, really cool. And then we're going to have the next one, which is Slay the Sorcerer. This one is just really solid. You pick one enemy hero on the battlefield that's a wizard. You complete this tactic if the wizard is slain. This is a really good battle tactic, you know. It's just another one that's like bring it down or kill a battle line or whatever. Really, really solid battle tactic. This will be really useful in a ton of games. You know, there'll be games where, like Bring It Down, it has no use, but most armies at the moment are toting a wizard of some variety. Solid. The Trial of Skulls is pick one friendly unit, and you complete this tactic if 8 or more enemy models are slain by attacks by that unit during the turn. This is really easy to complete. Once again, I think, you know, give this to Scarbrand. And he just goes ham on someone, you know, or send in a really strong unit of Juggernauts or something like that, Blood Crushers, into a cheap little chaff unit of 10 men, you know, 10 nobodies that are manning an objective. You kill them all with that unit and you wipe them out. They're gone. you can really make sure this is going to happen. So there are quite a few good battle tactics in this. I think all of them are solid, and all of them will be usable in the majority of your games. The wizard one, obviously, you might play a KO army that has no wizards. That's fair. But I think the vast majority of games you're going to have Slay the Sorcerer, and you're probably going to be able to complete it in most of the games as well. Really, really cool stuff. So what do you think of the Blades of Khorne update? My final thoughts are probably, like I said, it's not the most competitive update. It's definitely not the worst one. I think the battle tactics are really good. The grand strategy is probably not great at all, in all honesty. The new battle trait is interesting. They need to maybe evolve it a little bit and make it a little bit better. I like what it does, but it needs to be better at doing the thing that it does. And the Skull Altar changes are cool and fun. I don't think there's much more needed to be changed to the Skull Altar. But yeah, Khorne definitely needs a little bit more than what is given, but I think that mostly is needed with War Scroll rewrites more than anything. Let us know your thoughts though down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, drop us a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel and get your name up on the screen like all these fantastic people do, you can do so by supporting us either on Patreon or YouTube members. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd love to give them a shout out. So a shout out to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, and Dynet226. And a shout out to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Adriana Edwards, and Sean Scott. A special thanks as well to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing background work for our channel's Discord server as well. Thank you all for watching. Once again, everyone, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.